Hello and welcome. So this is a live stream summary of the future of RS, their official live stream. Now because this is about the future, they don't really tell us much of anything, but there is little bits and bits that they do tell us about. Now they do plan to have more featured Q&A live streams in the future, and it's possibly like a once a month thing on whatever is the hot topic at the time in the community. And as a disclaimer, this is Jagex giving their estimates on when stuff are going to happen. So just add a few months and you'll probably have a rough idea on when it should be. But onto the live stream. With an incident that happened not too long ago with the release of Botwatch, which monitors accounts' behavior to look for bots and ban them accordingly, an error occurred which resulted in the ban of 40,000 innocent players, which this was resolved within the hour or a few hours from when it happened. Each player that was wrongfully banned were given 20 free spins, so that's 800,000 spins giving out from that single error, which is worth at least 177,000 USD worth of spins. But of course, this doesn't really mean anything since spins don't really cost anything to Jagex. Now, a quick topic to address is how to become a player moderator. Now, how to be one? Well, the instant you ask how to become one, you are basically disqualified because it's for players who want to help grow the game, host community events for the sake of community events, not for the sake of becoming a player moderator, and it's for people who want to put others before themselves, stuff like that. Also, there seems to be a false belief that high level players, player moderators, or even YouTubers are listened to more than normal players, and this is clearly wrong because this just doesn't happen. And there's also a weird belief that Jagex would pay any YouTuber to do anything. But regarding dice hosting, Mark again states that he knows that people are into this kind of high risk gameplay. It's what people like, so they do plan to put their own version in the game, but they don't plan to do anything about this until next year. So we're stuck with this until next year. Next year. So that's not even until January. So that's a good like 3 months where we have to deal with it. So basically, is gambling allowed in Runescape? No, that'd be pretty much illegal. They'd have to tweak it to a point where it's illegal, and by that point, it's probably something very different from what it is now. It sounds like they're going to introduce new content into the game to address the problem, but I feel like it's going to end up like how they tried addressing PJing with the Crucible, where with PJing, if you want 1v1, you'd go to the Crucible, but oh wait, nobody goes there because it's just full of SOA Gano prods with Steel Titans. Anyway, while on the topic of the wilderness, they do have plans to revitalize the wilderness. At the beginning of next year, they plan to put incentives to be in the wilderness to put more players in there by putting XP incentives for gathering resources in the wilderness, and by making it out of the wilderness, you get some kind of XP bonus. So this sounds like it could be easily abused, and this is just going to put more skillers in the wilderness that you could PK. So for next year, there will be two new skills, one at the beginning of next year and another at the end of next year. The two skills are meant to be kind of complementing each other, but not exactly like how mining and smithing complement each other. One is meant to be a gathering skill, and the other is possibly a utilizing skill of possibly the resources. There's not much said about the second skill. They mentioned that evolution of summoning quite a while ago is planned for after the evolution of combat. They might change how summoning is trained because at the moment you spend more time making pouches rather than utilizing pouches. And they don't like how agility is tied with run energy at the moment, and how agility is just repeated running around the course over and over and over again. But this is just possible thoughts on future tweaks to skills. And they said flat out that they don't plan to raise the level cap of all levels from 99 to 120. It's meant to just stay at 99, except for Dungeoneering. Another thing that they mentioned is they plan to either move or delete Tutorial Island altogether. And this is because if you look at the world map, the Tutorial Island is right south of the Wizard's Tower, and they kind of need that area to further expand content in that area. And with that little tower, that little space that they have there, they can't really do much. So it's gonna just come down to either deleting it or just moving it to a different location. Anyway, about the future of RS, there's not going to be a 2004, 2006, or 20 whatever Scape server, but for the game, they plan to have like top level interface, better interaction with the game, world map improvements for improved gameplay, less lag, but this isn't really showing us what it's going to be like, it's just them telling us what it will be like. So there's not much to say about this except until we maybe see this in the game or maybe more pictures about this. Again, there are other things they mentioned but don't really talk about in the live stream, such as the return of Zaros, the Eastern Land, new continents to explore. But they're gonna probably, they said that they're gonna finish existing continents before they start on new ones. They do go on for a good 5 minutes talking, but not really saying much about these new updates. But one thing they did say is they don't actually have anything planned for their 200th quest yet. It's a long ways away from getting to the 200th quest. But when it comes around, they do plan to have something big for it. Another thing they mentioned is multiple characters attached to one account, and this is not a new concept to gaming. This idea has been around for ages. I swear, when they finally release this, there are probably going to be a lot of people like referencing that Jagex is copying blah 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 game, when that blah 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 game was not even the first to come up with that idea. Now, one last thing is quest storylines. They talked about changing it where your choices will matter. It'll shape your storyline where you can say, this is my story. And this is something where I'm actually quite interested in this. Where it's like, it's a lot better than just following the same storyline that everyone follows. Where it's not your story, it's just everybody shares the same kind of story. Everybody goes through the same whole thing. And there's nothing really too different from your story and your friend's story. But yeah, this pretty much summarizes most of the live stream, and they do spend a large amount of time hinting at new content, but not really saying anything about it. Yeah, most of the live stream was just filler, I guess. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and have a nice day.